So
Is there a theme song?
there is, but I'll put that in later.
Oh, okay.
So that's okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Love to Hate, Hate to Love, and I'm with my very special guest, Colin Mochrie. Hi, Colin.
Hi, Albert. How are you?
I'm good.
Oh, good.
It's nice in here because it feels quiet and we can be kind of like CBC commentating or something like that. But
Yeah.
almost whispering.
Oh, yeah.
It's like NPR.
It's very nice.
Oh, thank you. So anyway, the concept is, the first part is something that you love to hate, something that drives you crazy, that you actually get enjoyment out of ranting against it or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then the second side is something that you hate that you love, or like a guilty pleasure, something like that.
Well,
So, and that's about it.
I think I have more of those than things I hate.
Most people do. Yeah, I think for most people, not me, it's the opposite. There's
Of course.
so many things I love to hate, but
Well, that's what makes you, you.
that's true. I am me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's start with your first one. What do you love to hate?
Lately, it's been certain audiences. Lately, there's been this thing I've noticed where you'll say something that's totally inoffensive, but the audience goes, "Oh," and you just want to go, "Okay, wait, what?" We did one yesterday. We were doing it was a totally innocuous scene. We had a canoe, and I said, "Nice canoe," and Ryan said, "Yeah, it was made by this native who lives on the road." He said native, and everyone went, "Oh." So you want to stop and go, "Okay, what exactly was that about? Are you saying natives don't make canoes, or it actually makes you seem more racist because that's what you're thinking? Now you're making us think it." And I just wanted to, and they have that sort of smug look on their face. And especially since they've just been laughing at 10 minutes of poo jokes and fart jokes and been screaming strip club at us.
Yeah.
So you really there's no reason for you to judge anything I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, it's not a stereotype. It's just maybe it was made by a native guy.
If I said Albanian, I guess it would have gone by, but
there'd be somebody.
There'd be some Albanian.
Yeah, some Albanian.
And my thing is, okay, if you feel this strongly about these stereotypes, maybe go out in the world and fix them elsewhere rather than coming to a comedy show where chances are there's going to be something more offensive than that.
You know, you can't ignore that people are different. Like I can't, you can't say, "Oh yeah, I was talking to a guy from China or whatever," and people, "Ooh, why'd you bring up that he was from China?" It's like, because it might be relevant to the story.
Okay, so I'm with this white guy and we're on a rickshaw, and I just, as I say, I'm for political correctness in awareness, more of awareness of, yes, that is a racist thing. But, I've laughed at things that have been, I'm doing air quotes.
You're doing a lot of air quotes.
I'm doing air quotes.
It's so funny because both of us have been doing air quotes for the last 15, 20 seconds, just air quoting everything we say.
Doing racist things, but it has a point behind it. Like All in the Family in the 70s would not be made today because it'd be the entire audience during the entire taping. We'd be going, "Oh."
It would be a nonstop, "Oh." It would just start at the beginning and just it would never fade out.
It's like you're missing the point.
Yeah,
of course he's a racist, and we're supposed to laugh at him because his ideas are incredibly stupid.
Well, and that's and especially when you're performing or whatever. Yeah, it's not us doing racist stuff. It's like we're playing characters that are racist.
Yeah.
And then odds are they will get their comeuppance at some point.
Absolutely.
There will be some hubris involved, and we will tell a moral. But, give us a chance. Don't like leap on us right out of the gate, It's like just knocking you down. That's it. Ooh.
It was the best of time. It was the worst. Oh, it's like, come on.
Really? Really? Just because it was the best of times, it was also the worst
because
of times?
It was France?
Yeah. Typical guys.
Yeah, so there's those audiences that I just love to hate.
I always remember the thing I always loved to hate about audiences was the people, again, we're talking about like suggestions, yelling suggestions out over like strip club and stuff. The guys that would always yell out the worst, the ones that try to embarrass you, like it was always urinal or homosexual or gynecologist. And then you'd see them after the show and they go, "Hey, I was the one who yelled at gynecologist. You're welcome."
I know.
They thought they were helping you. Something like, "Hey, did you see that bit? That part where I insulted you and yelled and told you how terrible you were on stage?"
They really think that they're helping in some odd way.
Yeah.
There were a time where I remember at Second City, the audience would be referred to as fish heads, because basically you look out there and you just see them with their mouths sort of opening and closing. waiting for something. It's and of course that's a generalization. There are many audiences who are great.
Ooh, that's me going, ooh, because these just generalized audiences.
Yeah,
There.
but we always get gynecologists and proctologists, and it's always when we're asking for something for a sound effects game. And I wish that I was brave enough that I would go, all right, you who said gynecologist, come up here, sit here on the stage. We're going to do a sound effects scene about a gynecologist and a proctologist. We'll see how many laughs it gets. And audience, I just you can't boo at us because this is his suggestion.
Yeah. This is the guy.
He is responsible
Yeah.
for the effects you're about to hear as I shove my hand up this man's ass.
There you go. Well, I've done it. I've gotten to the point where it's like if I get gynecologist or proctologist or something like that, I go great, and I always do the guy coming home from work. Like I never do anything with him. Actually, I do him driving his car or something
Yeah,
like that.
because they turn on you.
Yeah, well, it's because nothing's going to be as funny as, and it's not funny, but nothing's going to get the reaction.
Come up with 5 funny things about
Yeah,
gynecologists.
exactly. Nothing's going to get the reaction that yelling gynecologist got. So you're already on a downhill slide.
Unless he's preparing a turkey. You might find some good stuff there.
The other one I always love is especially when you're an improviser, somebody will come up to you after a show and go, "Oh, I'm the funniest guy in the office. I should do what you. I should be on stage with you guys."
Yeah.
And I used to say, "No, actually it's years of training to make it look that easy. I've spent a lot of time doing." To the point now where I just go, "You should get up on stage and see how easy it is. Just let's go. Because it's kind of like your guy yelling gynecologist. I'd love to bring the guy up on stage and go to
ahead.
it. Show them how easy it is to."
They really have no idea because everybody has like a funny uncle or someone some friend who's incredibly funny in the kitchen party, and they don't understand. Yes, that's great when you're with friends and people who love you, but you go in front of a bunch of strangers.
Well paid, $20 to laugh for an hour straight. Yeah,
and you get them to laugh at the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. I always say it's kind of like a martial art. It's like you spent years training by yourself or working on it or whatever, and then when you get up on stage and you do all those amazing moves, it looks so simple or easy or whatever, and it's the same thing.
No, it's like years of and it's especially in improv, it's all things that we don't do in real life. Whenever you teach an improv class, the hurdle getting over is getting people to say yes to things, because the immediate reaction is to go no. We Brad and I had to teach one of these great gigs we've got teaching improv to GE executives because they weren't working together as a team, and they thought an improv class would help. So we had this whole 2-hour plan, teaching plan of the things we were going to do. We just spent the entire time trying to get them to say yes to someone else's idea. And finally we just had them in 2 lines opposite each other. You would go in, the minute somebody said no, you would go to the back of the line. And the line was just whizzing through. I was like, come on. And then finally someone said yes. And then a scene happened. You could see everyone go, oh, look at that. So, and then, of course, the next scene, no.
Right back to no. And then like you think, oh my God, the penny dropped. Finally, I understand. It's like, then right back to no. They're like, oh, that worked. I don't know why that
worked.
But
it's just amazing to me.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. The most interesting one for me was I went to England to teach improv one time, and they were so good. Like they were so smart and so clever and stuff. But I couldn't get them to do anything except stand there and talk to each other. And they're so good. Like they're so good at that. And they're making this guy was making references about what is it, Benjamin Disraeli, the prime minister from the 1800s and stuff. And everybody else is laughing. I have no idea and I'm teaching the class, and these guys are making all these incredibly clever references and standing there going, "Oh, would you like a match? Oh, who am I, Benjamin Disraeli in 1892?" There was the Matchbox petition of 1891 where he, I'm going, I have no freaking clue. And so I said, okay, well, you guys are really good at talking. I said, let's do it. Let's do a scene where it's just emotional. Like I want to see a really emotional scene where you guys actually do something besides just standing there and be witty. And I said, okay, so here's what you're going to do. You can't talk. You can only make emotional noises. Just do a scene with emotional. And when you can't do it, tap out, kind of like your GE guys. And I said, so just tap out when you if you can't. The second you talk, you're out. Somebody else comes in. And it was the same thing. I've never seen I'd never seen people's heads almost explode. Like these British people had the most amazing things to say, but they couldn't just make and being emotional also was really hard for the British. Good God, and just trying to do that, and they couldn't do it. And it was just like, everybody would like, aren't you Rosencrantz and Guildenstern? It's like, no. And they just kept switching through, and you'd see these people just like, just struggling. It almost looked like somebody turning into the Hulk. Like, I could actually see them clenching their fists because they wanted to say something so bad.
I think that was part of the reason they started bringing Americans over for Whose Line, because the British guys, and undoubtedly incredibly witty and
smart.
You cannot beat. John Sessions would be doing, James Joyce during Make a Story, where the closest I got was Barbara Cartland. I was doing a questions only scene with Stephen Fry, and it was set in Rome. He's doing all his in Latin, so it's like, but the Americans would bring over the kind of goofy quality and would be more physical. The early Whose Line, it started off as a radio show, which suited them perfectly. But when it got into television, again, it was all very static and very talking at each other. Yeah, but God, there's no one funnier than the Brits.
Oh my God, they're so fast. They're so clever. It drove me crazy. It was like, the only way to compete with them would be to be physical and visual.
I'm a chicken.
Yeah.
It's just like,
or just make angry noises at them, and you get and you used to see them go, "That's funny." I go, "Yeah, it is funny. It's another kind of funny." And they get upset because I wasn't one-upping them. I was just like being kind of goofy or something. Yeah. Audiences.
The other thing audiences do that bother me, it's along the same way. The killing of animals on stage. Often I've snapped a kitten's neck for a quick laugh, and you go, "Oh," but you were fine when I just ripped that woman's head off. That wasn't there. Yeah. That was fine.
Or shooting 50 people or whatever. Yeah, it's like,
that's funny.
But you take
the cat that isn't there, you just killed.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, for God's sake, come on, people.
I think I did that one time with a duck. Like I was on stage and doing a scene, and I said somebody handed me a duck, and I said, "Oh, this is nice," and I went snap, and you heard the audience just this intake of breath. They go, like, and it was so hilarious. I was like, there's nothing there.
I went like this and made a noise with my mouth.
That's it. Yeah, we're good people. There's no actual duck. Believe me, no animals were harmed in this thing except in my mind.
I know we're being tough on audiences, but.
These are very,
very
small,
and without them,
points.
We wouldn't have had a career.
Yeah, exactly.
If they really thought about what we're doing, we'd be so screwed.
They're just playing pretend.
We did a show. We had to do a couple of shows in Florida, and one was the matinee. It was a subscription show. It was Brad and I doing the show. And at intermission, one of the stagehands came up, kind of laughing to himself, going, "I was just out there, and there was this old lady going." It's like they're making it up as they go along. It's like, well, yeah, that's the concept of the show. If you don't get that from the beginning, then you're going to have trouble with this.
You're gonna,
what the hell?
I still remember there was one guy who was after when I was at Second City one night. I came out after the show, and there was a guy outside, and he said, "Oh, good show and stuff." And I said, "Thanks." And he goes, "Yeah, but that improv, like you guys are obviously, it's all planned." And I go, "How could it be planned?" He says, "Well," he said, because he'd taken classes, I guess. "I know what you guys do. You get your suggestions, then you go backstage for 10 minutes during intermission, and then you look up the scenes that sort of fit those categories, and you get them out." I said, "So you think in 10 minutes I can go through? I have a huge card catalog of scenes in the back." And I find like a category for horse, and I go, "Okay, the horse scenes," and I pick one out and I memorize it.
And my thing is, transcribe that. Yeah. Transcribe that scene, that improv scene, and then try to do it as a sketch with someone.
It'll never work.
It'll never work, and it's hard to memorize because there's no through line really. It just goes from one.
It's just random thoughts being thrown out, and and hopefully you get to it at a conclusion.
There's a laugh. Stop.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, you used to be good at that because that was your thing, right? You'd let two people go out and improvise for like 5 minutes, and you come out in the last 30 seconds with a hilarious line.
Yeah, that was my thing.
That was your thing?
It's like, I can't get invested in coming up with a premise and figuring out what's going on. I got a line in my head. I hope they do something where I can use it.
Come in. And I remember a couple of times being on stage and just struggling with something, going, it's going nowhere. And then you'd walk in and you'd say one thing, and the audience go, wow. And then later people go, that scene with Colin was hilarious. I go, but like you said, no, it's so funny. It's like 99% of the audience is always wonderful, but there's always those one or two that just you do. And that's the thing. It's like, I think that's why they stand out, or why that's such a nitpick. It's just like most of the time, 99% of your time, your experience is amazing, and then there's that one guy. It's like that one fly in the ointment.
It's because they're not giving themselves into the experience of just sitting back and enjoying. There's nothing really to think about. It's just having fun for however long it is. So do it. Just do it. Stop trying to find fault with everything.
So we've done what you love to hate, but what's something that you hate that you love? And if I may say, let me give you an example.
All right.
This is something that, I hate that I love the movie Roadhouse, which is like one of my...
Okay, I've got a couple of
which
those.
Which is one of my favorite movies of all time, with Patrick Swayze as the guy. And anytime that movie is on TV, I will stop and watch it.
There's some movies that will do that for you, and there's no discernible reason for it. You don't go, well, this is a great piece of art, or there's something about the character. It's just something that speaks to you.
I guess it's just like when I watch Roadhouse, I'm like, there is so much so wrong with this movie, and it's just brilliant. It's like if I was to write a parody of an action movie, of a martial arts action movie, the Roadhouse would be it. I couldn't write a better parody. Like, it's so perfectly.
For me, it's a movie called Shooter with Mark Wahlberg as a sniper.
I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
I have, yes.
And it's one of those where I'll be clicking. I say, oh, Shooter. And I'll watch it. It has kind of a pseudo conspiracy thing to it. There's some shooting.
It's terrible.
But I love it. I actually have a copy that I now can watch. I don't have to wait for it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I can't. Like, when he first gets the assignment because Mark Wahlberg, he's an ex-sniper, right? He's an ex-army sniper.
And you kind of know it's kind of a setup.
Yeah, and he's asked to protect the president or something like that at some big public.
Yeah, make sure be security so that the president won't be assassinated.
And of course, he's set up to, so it looks like he's the one who did the assassination or whatever, and something like that. So, but one of my favorite parts of this movie, or that makes no sense to me, is they give him this assignment at an abandoned warehouse at some Air Force base, some abandoned Air Force base, in a huge and abandoned warehouse, and in the background is a American flag that's got to be 5 stories tall, like a 5-story tall American flag hanging on. I'm going, how much money does one of those flags cost? And why is it just hanging in an abandoned warehouse in the middle of nowhere?
That makes it seem legitimate. You don't want to go to an abandoned space without anything that says, "Oh, the American government's here. We're here. This is real."
Yeah, exactly.
After you get the job, we roll this up, and we go to our next abandoned airfield.
Like, I looked at that flag. That's got to be like a $20,000 flag. And when they abandoned the thing, they said, "Now leave the giant 5-story American flag."
Okay, I had a problem with that. You didn't have a problem when he shot. He shot a guy across the lake who was torturing another guy.
Oh yeah. But he does standing in a rowboat on a wave, and his silencer is a pop bottle. So he's shooting through a pop bottle full of crap on the wave,
easy.
And he nails the guy.
I think, though, it's scientifically possible to do that.
Well, I
don't know all the science behind it, but there was a lot of...
And then he shoots everybody. Like, he goes to that guy's house, and he shoots, like 100 guys show up, and he shoots everybody.
Well, they shot his dog. Right there you think, oh, okay, you've just fucked up.
Yeah. When you
don't shoot a sniper's dog.
See, this is what we were talking about earlier, though, with the audiences, like killing a cat on stage. Right?
But showing an actual dog.
The actual dog getting shot or whatever,
I think if they killed, like, a mime dog, it would... Yeah, I mean... It would have been fine. But I love these little moments that are never... like, they have a meeting on a mountaintop in the snow. And
that's right.
They, Ned Beatty and Danny Glover, they come by helicopter, which apparently is the only place to get there. Of course, Mark Wahlberg and his gang have already got up there somehow, though they don't have a helicopter.
Right, yeah, they've walked up there. And then, that's right.
But there's snow camouflage.
Like, how many days did they prepare for that? Like, did they say, we'll meet you in a week at this mountain, because it's going to take us 6 days to get up there and hide.
Yeah.
That is a good movie that you hate to love. Yeah.
Something else I love to hate.
No, hate.
Or hate to love. I mean, the song "Bop." I'll be driving along and it'll come on, and I just find a bop. I,
20 years this week.
oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm really hating that I like it.
Oh my god! I could, yeah, I saw that online. It was
So,
like it's been 20 years.
There's some songs like that just that Sugar is another one.
By the Archies, yes,
Yeah,
I know that.
just stick in my head, and you just go along, and you think, oh, I didn't realize I knew this many words to it.
I know, yeah. I was gonna say, I think I know all the lyrics to Sugar, and it's like,
Why?
why would I know? You know, forget knowing opera or the Constitution
Or anything I learned in school is
Yeah,
gone
yeah.
because of mbop and
Sugar. Maybe that's what they should do. They should take important things that we need to learn and set them to like catchy tunes or whatever. Like if the Bill of Rights was set to like Sugar, I bet you I could probably recite it.
like Schoolhouse Rock.
Yes.
I think that was part of the reason behind it. Conjunction, junction.
I still know I still know my conjunctions.
Yeah.
And I know verbs.
And then it just kind of stopped after that. They should have kept going. And
They got into some more like
Civil War, the slavery problem, to a nice.
trigonometry. I could learn I could learn that.
I don't know if anything.
Your cosines, your sines, your tangents? No?
I guess if you put it to enough music,
If I put it to
a
enough
really
music,
long
it
song.
would have to be it would have to be a hell of a catchy song.
Oh,
that would
yeah.
be a hell of a catchy song.
Are there these movies that are lesser movies that I like some and you like some? Are there movies that are considered great movies that you just don't get and don't like?
Yeah, I got it. There's got to be. I know there's a couple where I'm just like, yeah, I don't see the point of this movie. Let me think of one. It's gonna be weird. I'm gonna say 2001: A Space Odyssey.
No, I hear it. Yeah.
The thing was, I loved it. I loved it when I saw it the first time as a kid. But I loved it because of all the space.
Yeah.
All the models and the stuff flying, and all the space part of it. But watching it now, I still don't, and I mean, and that's, I guess, apparently the purpose is that we're not supposed to understand what
I read
what
the
happened.
book so I could understand it. I thought, what the hell is that big black thing? Oh, it's a monolith. It's.
But for me, the ending is like when the guy he dies and then he
becomes
goes
a star baby.
He becomes the star baby or star child or whatever. I was like, and now what? Like it's like so they went through all this stuff to make this guy into some weird thing that floats.
At
through
that point, it
space.
just seemed like, okay, what are we going to give the kids who are on LSD right now?
Yeah, especially the whole trip. Yeah, the whole trip.
Yeah.
It's like I think that whole thing could have been a lot quicker. No offense to I guess some offense to Kubrick.
I'm thinking every movie now should have a blooper reel at the end. Just so even if I hated that movie, I'd stick around for the blooper reel.
There you go.
And go, okay. It wasn't worth the $20 or whatever, but it was something. It was better than, especially after the depressing movies.
Exactly.
Like
You know
Schindler's List or something. Have a nice little
what?
a blooper reel because you're not expecting it. You go, oh, I'm so depressed. Oh, what's this?
Oh,
look at Liam Neeson breaking up.
breaking character and having a laugh or
Yeah.
something like that. Going cut.
I'm telling you.
Oh my God.
It'd be a popular feature.
I mean, I got to give kudos to Burt Reynolds. I believe he's the man who created that art form.
Yeah.
The blooper reel at the end of the movie art
I
form.
know.
There you go. All right. I think that's it. Well, I have to say I didn't hate to love you.
Okay.
And I don't love to hate you. So
I also hate to love donuts with cream in it, but that's just.
Oh no, you don't. Yes, you do hate to love them because you love them.
I love them.
I still.
Oh yeah, I remember on tour. Yeah,
I remember when we were on tour. We'd stop into that Tim Hortons, and there'd been an eclair, and it had to be like in a small town in New Brunswick or somewhere. Nobody orders the eclair, so you know it's been sitting there for days.
Yeah, it's a little crunchy.
You ordered the eclair, and you would always order the eclair.
I love it. I know it's bad for me, and I know there's nothing actually made from animals or.
Cream-filled donuts. That's right. You love cream-filled things. You should. That can't be good for you.
No, of course not. That's why since those days I've cut back.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I mean I would go every day and have an eclair with, but now it's been.
I still remember that. I remember watching you eat eclairs, going how because I think I could get like 2 bites into an eclair and I'd be like, okay, that's enough sugar. I'm like,
I used to get 2, the long one and then the circular one, just because
For
2 long
variety.
ones would be stupid.
yeah, no, 2 long
much.
ones. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
But this way it's 2 different things
Yeah.
technically, I guess. Oh my gosh, that's right. Well, let's go get an eclair.
Okay.
Cool.